The final trailer for Backrooms just dropped. And this might honestly be one of the most unsettling horror movies we've seen in years. What makes this movie so interesting is that it doesn't look like traditional horror at all. There's no obvious slasher, no haunted doll, no masked killer chasing teenagers through the woods. Instead, the thing we're supposed to fear is the environment itself, and somehow that makes it even scarier. Now, for people who don't know, Backrooms actually started as an internet horror concept years ago. It exploded online through creepy images and YouTube videos showing endless yellow hallways, buzzing fluorescent lights, empty office-like rooms, and this constant feeling that something was deeply wrong. The idea was simple but terrifying. What if you accidentally slipped out of reality and ended up in an endless maze that doesn't follow the normal laws of the world? That concept alone captured people's imagination. Then creators on YouTube started building entire stories around it. Found footage videos, VHS-style recordings, explorations of impossible spaces. The internet basically turned the Backrooms into modern digital folklore. And honestly, it was only a matter of time before someone tried turning it into a real movie. But the important part here is who was making it. This is exactly why I love A24 as a studio. Whether every single movie works or not, you can't deny that they're willing to take risks. They fund weird projects, experimental projects, horror movies that bigger studios probably wouldn't touch because they're too strange or too unconventional. And that's how you get movies that actually stick with people. Some of the best modern horror films came from studios willing to break away from safe formulas. Instead of relying on cheap jump scares or generic monsters, they focus on atmosphere, tension, psychological fear, and ideas that crawl into your brain long after the movie ends. Not every experiment lands perfectly, but when they hit, they create something special, and Backrooms feels exactly like that kind of movie. This trailer barely even explains what's happening, and somehow that makes it more effective. It feels like you're watching people slowly descend into something they cannot understand. The trailer starts relatively grounded. Strange hallways, empty spaces, weird architecture that almost feels familiar at first, but then little things start becoming wrong. The geometry doesn't make sense, rooms stretch too far, hallways loop unnaturally, doors lead nowhere. Sound becomes distorted, and the deeper they go, the more reality itself seems to unravel. That's what makes this so disturbing. Most horror movies establish the threat early. You know what you're afraid of: a demon, a ghost, a creature. Your brain can categorize it. But Backrooms feels unpredictable. You don't know the rules, and psychologically that's terrifying. Because fear becomes much stronger when your mind can't fully process what it's seeing. The trailer gives this constant feeling that reality itself is unstable, like the environment is alive in some impossible way, almost like the Backrooms are reacting to the people inside them. And I think that's the genius of this concept. The setting itself becomes the villain, not because it's chasing you, but because it slowly breaks your understanding of space, logic, and safety. There's this overwhelming sense of isolation throughout the trailer too. The characters feel tiny compared to these endless, empty spaces. Every room feels abandoned, but at the same time you constantly feel like something is nearby. Even when nothing is happening, the tension never disappears. That's the kind of horror that really gets under my skin personally. Psychological horror will always be scarier to me than straight-up gore or jump scares because it attacks your perception. It makes you question what's real. It puts you on edge because you never fully know what's coming next, and this trailer nails that feeling. There are moments where things escalate so gradually that you almost don't notice it at first. Then suddenly the visuals become more distorted. The spaces become more impossible, and the atmosphere becomes completely nightmarish. It's like descending deeper into a bad dream. And the scariest part is that the trailer never fully reveals what's waiting down there. You get glimpses of things, strange movement shapes in the darkness, quick moments that make your brain try to fill in the blanks, but it never over-explains itself. That restraint is important. A lot of horror movies ruin themselves by showing too much too early. But Backrooms seems to understand that mystery is part of the fear. Your imagination becomes the monster. And honestly, I think audiences are ready for something like this. Horror has evolved a lot over the years. People have seen every variation of haunted houses, possession movies, slashers, and zombies. So when a movie comes along with a genuinely different feeling to it, it immediately stands out, and this feels different. It feels like existential horror, the fear of being trapped somewhere that doesn't make sense, somewhere infinite, somewhere where reality itself no longer protects you. That's such a primal nightmare when you really think about it, because there's no fighting your way out, no final battle, no clear enemy to defeat, just endless uncertainty. The trailer also deserves credit visually, because some of these shots are genuinely unsettling without relying on anything flashy. Long, empty hallways, flickering lights, silent rooms that feel wrong for reasons you can't explain. It creates dread through atmosphere instead of constant chaos. And honestly, some of the most effective horror scenes ever made work exactly like that. Silence, stillness, anticipation, your brain doing most of the work. That's what Backrooms appears to understand. It's weaponizing discomfort. And if the movie can maintain this atmosphere for its full run time without over-explaining the mystery, I think this could become one of the standout horror films in recent years, especially for people who love slow-burn psychological horror. Now, obviously, we'll have to wait and see if the full movie delivers, because trailers can sometimes create expectations that the actual film can't fully live up to. But based on this final trailer alone, this feels incredibly promising. It feels unique, it feels unsettling, and most importantly, it feels memorable. This doesn't look like a horror movie you simply watch and forget a week later. This looks like the kind of movie that sticks in your head afterward, the kind where empty hallways suddenly feel uncomfortable, the kind where silence starts feeling unnatural. And honestly, that's exactly what great horror is supposed to do. So yeah, I'm extremely excited for Backrooms. This could either become one of the boldest modern horror movies in years, or one of the strangest experiments we've seen from A24.